Hey kids, Dean with Crypto the Wonder Dog. It's we're getting close. We're getting close to this thing, man. We're only 60 something days away. 67 days, 2 hours, 7 minutes, 6 seconds. You know what I'm talking about, right? The North American Sports Blockchain Conference that is happening August 6th, 7th, and 8th. Only the 6th if you're a VIP. You get to get the VIP tickets. You get to come hang out with us somewhere close to the JW Marriott and rub elbows with some of the big names in sports and blockchain. And we're going to have some special announcements happening. Also, maybe handing out some worthless tokens. You never know. Or maybe some worthwhile tokens. We're going to be making the... by the time you guys hear this, we'll have already made the Crypto the Wonder Dog token. It's going to be an ERC token. Totally not worth a dime. Literally, not worth a dime, a penny, fraction of a penny. Nothing, but you like and subscribe and be our friend. Leave a note somewhere. Put a note in a bottle, throw it out in the ocean. Somebody will read it and relay the message to me that you heard about it. But we'll be handing these out by the fistfuls. Man, you ever had a wallet with let's say 100,000 coins in it? You could. You ever had a wallet with 1 million coins in it? Tell you what, I think that the Wonder Puppy might be able to hook you up with that. We're gonna be just throwing those out willy-nilly, and you're not gonna see no airdrops, Be our friend. Give us a note, talk to us, and we'll give you some of the Crypto the Wonder Dog token. I think the symbol, if it's not taken, is going to be CTW. Crypto the Wonder Dog. And I got my buddy. I say everyone's my buddy. Everyone's my buddy. But everyone is my buddy. You know, you talk to me on the show, you're my buddy. You know, we'll have a beer one time, 2 times, or a dozen times. I don't know. Nicholas, Unitios. I butcher everyone's last name unless they just stand there and give it to me over and over and over. Juntilla, and super nice guy. I met him a few weeks ago, and we've run into each other a couple times, but we've struck up an actual friendship. You know, he's going to come over to the doghouse. That's what we're going to call this place, the doghouse, because I feel like I'm in the doghouse. No, it's a nice place. It's over just about a half a block north of PCH. And you can smell the morning, get the morning breeze coming off the ocean, the beautiful dew hanging off the blades of grass as you walk down to the Starbucks, and you get your cup of coffee that's these days close to a Bitcoin, man. But I was once told by a guy that you want to save money on your auto repairs. Brew your own coffee. I didn't get it until he handed me the bill, and I'm like, where am I going to come up with this money? Stop drinking Starbucks coffee. For one, holy crap, you can buy a bag and make it for pennies on the dollar. So my advice to you, that one's free, not going to cost you anything. So what else has been going on, man? This is a fun gig, and I never pictured myself hanging out behind the microphone. I've always been the guy in front of the camera, but it's been nice, man. Like, everyone's so nice. Everyone's really cool, and then you sound so professional. Yeah, this is a new thing for me, but I've learned so much in the past couple of months, and the one person that I have to thank for whatever a bunch is, a bunch of knowledge. This guy's given me a large amount, a plethora, a boatload, a crypto wallet load of information, and I'm just going to click around here until I get to the freaking card that I made. Here we go. Crypto Wallets by Christian over at Sustany Capital. And he's the coolest guy ever, man. I'm going to be looking for a wingman here pretty soon. And I don't know if I would take him. I think he would probably take all of the girls. But, it seemed like he would be a super cool guy to go out. In fact, we did go out. We went out to a place in LA and hung out and talked, had fun. Had a couple of drink booze. And we had a couple of adult beverages and enjoyed a show. Saw a few guys talk about this new concept coming up, and don't know if we can talk about it yet. In fact, you talk to somebody about that, and it's a sport related company, and we got this North American sports blockchain coming up in August. They would be a perfect fit, man, just perfect. I want to run through some of the speakers that we have so far. Myself, man, gonna get in front of an audience and talk. Eamon Donlan, super cool guy. We've been trying to do a show. We were doing a show every Wednesday on sports and crypto and blockchain and whatever. There's Christian, you get to meet him. Larry Castro, who is a PGA guy, and he's been recently. Maybe not recently, maybe a couple of years ago, he's dove into the blockchain and got some things to say about that. Sohrab from the FCFL will be there. Alex from the Celsius Network, and one of the superstars. If you're online, if you're on LinkedIn, and you haven't seen this guy, man, then you must be blind, because this guy is everywhere. He is the mover and shaker of the blockchain crypto world. David Drake from LDJ Capital. He's agreed to grace us with his charm and presence. Super nice guy. Sunil Bardwaj from Global Talent, and a guy I just met a couple of days ago, Matt Fortnow, from the Blockchain Guys. Talk about anybody who should be at a show about blockchain. Should be the Blockchain Guys. Drew Taylor from Global Boost, and it's going to be a great show. These are just a sampling, just a dab, just touching, just a dusting of what the guys are going to be there. The tickets are through Eventbrite, and if you come on to the website nasbc.co, which stands for North American Blockchain. North American Sports and Blockchain. You can buy your tickets here. The standard one-day pass is, $3.99. Platinum pass, which is the big daddy, that's the one you want to get, $9.99. Get you into everything, and also get you a table service at a couple of the really nice events we're going to have at night. And the 2-day pass, $7.99. But I would encourage everyone who wants to meet and greet some of the cool athletes and stars that are going to be there. Bring a Sharpie and a deflated soccer ball or football or something. Get yourself a little autograph. We're going to have that at the LA JW Marriott in downtown LA, the LA Live. And here's some of the sponsors we have so far: LDJ Capital, SportVest, Sustany Capital, ICO Holder, and media group, media sponsors, Soho Loft and Blockchain Radio. And more coming on board really, really soon. We've got a little bit of a little presence of social media, so make sure you check that out too. We have a registration form here if you want to talk to us and get more information on the show. Everything's on here though, and you can also click on this little guy right here. See that little red button? Download the sponsor deck here. So if you're ICO or if you're a company that has something to do with sports and blockchain, be a sponsor. Come and talk to us, help us out. It'll be a great time, and you will be much appreciated by the people in the world who are already in space, but also the people who have been dabbling in it but don't know how to jump in. They don't see the off ramp. They don't see the off ramp to crypto world and blockchain world. So this will be the perfect opportunity for you to get your friends involved, family, your teams, your coaches, players, whatever. Get them involved. Eventbrite, you just come on here and just search North American Sports and Blockchain, and it'll come up for you. 2008 North American Sports Blockchain. All right, let's get back to my buddy Christian. And let me get the damn card again. There it is, Christian from Sustany Capital. Crypto wallets. You guys ready to start the show? All right, let's start the show. Oh man! So right on. So you're going to try to get me involved with a cool show tonight, and we've got our show to do right now, which is our weekly show with Sustany Capital here in Newport. So what do we got today?
Cryptocurrency wallets.
Cryptocurrency wallets, and I just got one from Trezor, and you just showed me your wallet you have, which is
we got a bunch. We got a Keep Key here.
Okay, Keep Key.
My current favorite for ease of use.
It's got two little buttons on it, or one button.
Yeah,
and a USB port.
And a big display. This is all display.
Oh, that's all display right there.
All
that's
display.
crazy.
Yeah, you see how small these other displays are in comparison.
Wow. So and that's one right here too? Ledger. Oh, I've heard about this one, Ledger. Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of the most common one.
Is it?
Yeah, that was the first one on the market as far as I know.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen one of these up close. But like I said, I just got this one in the mail from them, and I didn't know how to use it.
Oh, it's not that hard.
But those are cool, man. And I was scared to even try to use it because, I'm still new at this whole game too. Putting, moving money from here to there because it's that panic thing. As soon as you hit send. Did I put in the right address? Did I
sort of always is?
Did I miss one character? Is this the whole thing just going to go up in smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
scary.
And there's new methods coming. You heard of that, right? That
No.
will protect you from not sending it into
Oblivion.
the void. Yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I've heard so many horror stories about people missing one character and then yeah,
and it's gone forever.
Yeah, gone forever. Oh, what a nightmare!
And it's gone.
All right, so hey, educate us, man.
All right, so everybody calls it cryptocurrency wallets, so that's what I'm doing too, even though, as usual, that's not quite the right term, because obviously there's other virtual assets that are not cryptocurrencies, and you can typically store these on these particular devices that we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So we get into that. So it would be more accurate but less sexy to call it virtual asset wallets.
That's sexy.
So we'll keep calling it cryptocurrency wallets, I guess.
Awesome. Okay.
So strategically, first of all, to know that the cryptocurrency wallets, the one thing that they don't do is they don't store currencies.
They don't store currency.
No, they don't. Because what they actually store are the access keys to your currencies or to your virtual assets, to be more accurate.
Okay.
So there's actually no currency on there, just the ability for you to move that particular currency that you're connecting to.
Oh, I thought you actually had all of your coins on these things.
There's no coin on there.
Oh.
No.
Wow.
All coins or all virtual assets for that matter are always and will always be on the blockchain.
They will always be on. They can never come off the blockchain.
No, you can just assign.
Can't put them in your coin wallet.
You can just assign the rights in form of your private keys and public keys.
Okay.
In order to move certain amounts.
Awesome. Okay, I got that.
So that's a common misconception. So conceptually, there are two types of wallets. You got your software wallets, and then you got your hardware wallets. So as far as software wallets are concerned, and those were the very first ones, obviously you got your desktop, and you can install like an Electrum or an Exodus, and that's probably something that you did on your laptop or PC at home.
Coinbase, that's the one I did. Oh, but
Yes.
that's not desktop though.
That's not desktop, no.
Okay.
So that would fall into the third category, which is your mobile wallet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I did try to install something on my desktop, and I couldn't figure it out at the time. I think it was Exodus. I think that was one that I did try to install, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you got your desktop, you got your mobile applications, and then so if it's your desktop application, it's actually tethered in a way to your actual device, and then you got those wallets that are just online. You got your Jax wallet, although Jax also has a mobile application, but initially it started out as just a cloud application. So you got those three kinds under software wallets: desktop, online, and mobile.
Okay.
And then we obviously have the ones that we already talked about that everybody thinks of first, which are your hardware. And on one side, you got these devices. You got your ledger, you got your Trezor, you got your Keep Key. But then on the other side, what was before and still is, obviously, you got just simple paper, because you could just, for every private key or any public key, you could literally just print it out or write it down on a piece of paper and keep it.
Oh, okay.
Or you can, what you more often see, you'll create a QR code and use that. And that's obviously also what you use typically to transfer. You scan a QR code, and that is actually just a long numeric number that resembles the same address.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, there's the pictures. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's our pictures here at the Keep Key, the Ledger, and the Trezor. Cool.
And you got that new one, right?
I
That's,
do the
you
new
got that
sexy
one.
new one. It's
Yeah, I got the ugly black one there. I think I'm gonna throw that out. So yeah, within your wallet, the four things that you basically need to know. So you got your public key.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key that you actually use to move your funds. You got your did I say public or private? You got a private key.
Yeah, public key.
Yeah. So the public key, it's your wallet's public address. So this way you can use that particular address. You pop it into Etherscan or any of the other crypto chains, and you can exactly see what amount is associated with this address.
Okay.
Right. And so that's also then the method to transfer that, because someone can actually see, oh yeah, this particular address has this particular amount of Ether or something else associated to that. And then your private key allows you to move parts or all of that particular amount associated to the public key.
Okay.
And then you have key store files. It's an encrypted version simply of your private key. So that's something that you would store on your laptop, or something that's stored on your hardware wallet. And then finally, and you will always see this once you create a new wallet, you get an mnemonic phrase. So this is either 16 or 20 words of sorts. House, cat, mouse, papa, mama.
And that came
umbrella.
with that, right? With the Trezor, they gave me a little card.
All of those will initially generate that. So in case you ever erase that, you can restore it using this mnemonic phrase.
Okay. And there's only so many words. You can't just pick words out of the universe. There's only a list like of 200 words, right, that exists right now?
Yeah, it will jumble it up a bit, but
yeah.
But it has to be in the exact order and sequence.
Yes, because I had to take the piece of paper and I had to write them all down on that piece of paper to make sure that I always remembered it. And then I just told you I moved.
Right. And
they gave me two pieces of paper. I found the one that's empty.
You found the one that's empty. That's not very helpful. You better find the other one.
I think I took a picture with my phone because I knew I'd do something stupid.
You
like
didn't
that.
just tell me that, right? You're going to edit that out.
I'm going to delete. Yeah, I'm going to delete that. Yeah, I'm going to delete it. There's no money on it, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay. And Apple doesn't keep it forever. No.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'm showing you one authentication example. That there's different ones depending on your hardware or software wallet, but this is the one that I sort of like a lot. So when you look at this, you can see there's the numbers from 1 to 9 on the display of that keep key in this particular case, and you have to then remember to put in the 4 digits how you remembered them onto the screen. So this is always jumbled. So the reason for this being is so that no one can actually see what you're doing with, let's say, a keylogger.
Yeah.
Because if it was always the same, it would be very easy to pick this up with a keylogger. You will be pushing the same buttons all the time. So this way, because it's mixed around on the actual device, no one can actually see this unless they look over your shoulder, but that wouldn't still help either.
Yeah, I've seen those movies where the guys they'll dust the keypad. They can see where the people have touched it, and they can.
It wouldn't quite work here either. So what can you store? So one thing to remember is before you start buying anything, you can't necessarily store any currency or any virtual asset on every device. So right now they're all in some form or another limited in terms of what they can store. Most of them will support the common ones, so your Bitcoin Cash, your Litecoin, your Ethereum, your Ether in this case, your Dash, and so forth. But some of the rarer currencies, particularly in the US instance, NEM for example, these wallets don't support. And also, if it's an ERC20 token, it's different per device, but typically what happens is you can actually associate the address to that wallet. So you can store that address, your public key on that wallet, but it won't show it necessarily.
Oh, okay.
So in that case, so maybe back up a second. So every wallet can have probably an unlimited amount of addresses, right? So to store, and those addresses are categorized by the type of blockchain they support. So in the ERC20 case, as you know, 90-some% of all tokens are generated on the ERC20 Ethereum API standard.
Okay.
And so those are typically supported. Sometimes the hardware wallet will go so far to actually also support that label and also pull the price. Sometimes it will just support the address. And so in the case where you can label this particular address, you would just write down, okay, this is this particular Wonder token that I bought, but it won't show up there. So it will just say Wonder token on your label, but it will give you the address. So you'll have the address, and then in the ERC20's case, you pop the address into an Etherscan, and then you see what you're holding. And on Etherscan, you probably know this, you have another button that will then show you what particular variety of ERC20 it is.
Yeah, well, I use MetaMask, because that's the same thing, right?
Is it the same thing? I don't know.
Because people had sent me some tokens from the thing, and I couldn't find them.
Okay.
But then whenever I went and did something inside of Etherscan, it gave me a number. I put that in there, and then all my tokens showed up.
Yeah.
All my ERC20 tokens.
I was just playing with MetaMask. I mean, MetaMask is just another wallet, right?
What's the ERC20?
Hang on. Where's my MetaMask? There's my MetaMask.
It's like a plugin for Chrome.
Yeah, there you go. There's my MetaMask. Yeah. But no, MetaMask also doesn't support all of your tokens. No.
Yeah, it's
not the same.
Okay.
So the answer is no.
Oh.
So here, if I log in here, right, you can see that here. So it's actually just buying some secret token. So if you say add token, you
you just put in the token symbol, and it shows you how many that you have.
Where was that? Why it doesn't show any symbols right now? Why not?
Type in the token symbol right there.
Well, okay. Nope.
No.
You expect it to come up, right?
Oh, I think you hit add, right?
No.
Oh, you have to put in the address, the token contractor address from Etherscan.
Okay, let's pick one.
If you log into your Etherscan, it'll.
I am, and so we'll got a couple of EOS in this particular address, right? So we're looking at our EOS.
So that there's your contractor address, right?
Yes.
So you copy that address and you put it in there.
Let's see if it shows EOS. I don't use MetaMask to buy outside of the decentralized exchanges. It's the only time I use it. Nope. It's not picking it up.
Yeah, there was a couple that I got that it didn't show up either.
Okay.
And then I had to watch this video on how to actually you actually tell MetaMask what it is and or something,
Right.
and then it adds it to there. But it was,
Yeah.
it's so complicated.
Well, Etherscan will show it to you. So
Yeah,
because
Etherscan.
it was created there basically, right?
Yeah.
And so it shows you right there. Right. So it shows you this is EOS in this particular case, either though it's on Etherscan.
yeah,
Okay, right there.
yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right.
Moving on from there. So what do you have? So we got our wallet terms down, right? So how does it work? A person wants to send you some crypto to your wallet. So you're storing various addresses in your wallet, or you create a new one. He'll get your private key or your public key to send to that address. Then it will compare it,
Okay, so
see if this is the address it should be sending it to. If that matches up, the transaction will be eventually recorded on the blockchain.
Okay. What go back up
Sure.
to one that
Sure
ERC 721. Now I've heard this a few times. And
This is actually coming up.
I just recently, understood what ERC 20 was, and now they threw another number at me.
721?
721.
Unique assets.
What does that mean?
You know what? Why I had to have two different presentations here? Okay. Where are you? 721. It's a unique asset, so it's our CryptoKitty case, and you can store
CryptoKitty.
Yes, and you can store those as well.
Okay, but they're not.
typically-
They're ERC 20.
The ERC 721.
But can I put those in my
Yes.
Ether MetaMask?
It will work for a ledger. I don't know if it should work with MetaMask since it supports ERC 20.
And it'll go into Ledger, Trezor, whatever.
I know it works with Ledger because I just looked it up. I don't own a kitty.
Mm-hmm.
Not really my deal, but
What is
I
a
would
kitty?
assume it does. It's a unique virtual asset,
Oh, really?
so it's uniquely identified.
Is this a
And
thing? I think I've heard about this, where people going crazy. They're buying, you buy like a hat or something for it, or
No, you breed them. I don't
breed
know
them.
about the accessory, but you can breed them. So
and they have babies.
They have babies, and you can sell the babies.
Get the hell
And
out of here.
there's an entire marketplace where you can buy these babies. I think, if I remember that correctly, the most expensive ones sold for the equivalent of $130,000 at the time. So that's the master breeder
Really?
kitty or something to that extent. Yes.
But that thing still
So
exists, though.
yes.
And so they could actually sell that digital asset to somebody else, right? That's a
No,
digital asset?
It's one unique digital asset. So this person has it.
Yeah.
It's associated to his personal address, and you can't duplicate it.
You can't duplicate it, so he could sell that exact one to someone else, right?
Yes.
Wow. How crazy.
Or you can combine it with other kitties and breed more kitties. Of various kinds. So that's the function of the more expensive ones, apparently.
That is ridiculous, but
Yeah, it was $113,000 at the time.
$113,000 for pixels.
Yeah, and there's new ones coming out. There's crypto puppies and all sorts of unique virtual assets coming out.
Wow. Well, I should get one. Crypto the Wonder Dog. That should be.
You
worth
should get it, definitely
a lot of money right there for that
You
freaking
should
thing.
absolutely ask for Crypto the Wonder Dog.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, even if it's just like a $15 dog, but
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Crypto the Wonder Dog. Somebody could
Yeah.
actually own the Crypto the Wonder Dog. Wow.
yeah, you should get on that.
I should. I wonder who I got to talk to
Oh, I
about
jumped around because I had the wrong,
that. So,
the wrong presentation.
so
file
we were
my
on
computer.
How Does It Work, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
and
And then we went through that whole thing. So now we're on fees.
yes. So, and to talk about fees is kind of important because some of these wallets actually don't necessarily support you to change that. So what I mean by that is, if you see on this slide, there's actually different ways. So this is the example of Ethereum. So the most common one for transactions these days, most likely. And you set your own fees by how fast you want this transaction to happen. You could actually send it to zero, and it would eventually happen.
Oh, okay. So
You
you
don't
don't actually have to
necessarily
pay
have to,
gas at all.
Yeah, and this week, the entire week, I've been monitoring fees, and they were pretty high. At one point in time yesterday, they were like 70-some cents for the average transaction. So there was a lot of activity, and I think it actually had to do with 721 tokens of sorts. I didn't dive into this, but you should typically expect to see this at below a penny here.
Below a penny?
Yes, but this is a screen grab that I grabbed earlier, so it's still pretty high, 13.5 cents.
Wow.
But yeah, if you wanted the transaction to happen in due time, this is what you would set. But I bought some coins yesterday, and not a whole lot. It was really small amount, sub $1,000, and it took an hour.
It took an hour.
It took an hour, and I set it to average fees. I assumed it would happen sometime. It had nothing to do with fulfilling the order. It was a recording of the actual transaction that took that long for some reason. So typically it shouldn't take that long. It's only when there's a lot of activity. Sometimes it's hard to tell whether or not the exchange is causing it or the chain itself, but in this case it was the chain itself. There were a lot of transactions stuck at some point in time.
Who gets that money?
The miners.
The miners do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guys running the nodes, recording the transaction. And so the point here is some of these wallets don't necessarily support changing those fees. So they will just figure out what the average fee is and set it to that. So if it's important to you that the transaction is happening fast for whatever reason, let's say there's an auction for one of those unique virtual assets, you probably want to look for a software wallet that supports setting the transaction fees to a higher amount so you can make sure that you're getting into the next block.
Okay.
Because you don't get the choice with the hardware wallet. But if you're moving larger amounts and keep those on here, and you don't necessarily care if it's getting there in the next hour, then it's typically safe to leave the average that's by default set on these devices.
All right. Cool.
So the most common wallet, quote unquote, right now is obviously Coinbase. You sign up anywhere between like 100,000 and supposedly 150,000 new victims a day.
Victims.
Well, Coinbase charges a 2.99% fee.
It is ridiculous.
So when you deposit $100, you're not getting $100. You're getting $97 deposited in whatever virtual currency you're buying.
Yeah.
That's old world merchant account fees, right? So that's exactly what blockchain is about to change.
Because they kind of have the monopoly if you want to get your money in.
Yeah, they make it the easiest.
Yeah.
Absolutely, unfortunately. So that's fairly straightforward. You install the app, you enter your names and create a password.
And wait 3 days, and you
wait 3 days.
Wait 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the last time I did this for one particular purpose, it actually took 5 days.
5 days
to take the money from my bank account and deposit in my Coinbase account. It took 5 days. It started the process on Monday. It got there on Friday. It wasn't a large amount. It was a very small amount. And I already forgot why I did this, but I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, when I was in there, I actually accidentally moved money from Bitcoin into my US dollar wallet.
Yeah.
And that happened right away.
Sure.
But taking it out of that wallet, putting it back into Bitcoin, took 7 days.
Yeah, because it's using ACH, it's using the automated clearinghouse system. And so that's based on the speed of checks of paper being sent around.
Yeah.
So it's sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have it, they don't have it.
I was upset. I sent them a note, and they sent it back, and they said, it'll get there. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically was their answer. Was like, don't worry.
It was much worse in the beginning. So when they first started out, at one point in time, I withdrew, let's say, a couple $1,000, right? And they were just in limbo for weeks.
In limbo for weeks?
Yes.
Wow. And
it was a good thing I didn't really need that money at the time, but if I had needed this money to pay rent or something, I would have been hosed, right?
Yeah.
It was just $8,000-9,000 just in limbo, just no one answering the phones, no one answering emails.
Yeah, that's the thing about this whole world is that rarely do you see a phone number for any company.
no support,
No.
just an automated response. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it has gotten much better. I don't know. I'm generally trying to stay away from this, but for different reasons at this point in time, because I think we talked about this. The US exchanges are prone to, let's call it faulty reporting, because it seems, and that has been confirmed by many people online already at this point in time, so it must be true if it's on the internet.
It's got to be true. Yeah, that's the gospel.
That they just assume, so they being a lot of the US exchanges, that if you move money, move coins out of your wallet at the exchange, or in this case at Coinbase, which at this point in time is not really an exchange. GDEX is their exchange, and they're going to change that. You saw that, right? So
yeah,
they're going to come up
I did
with
see
something
that, yeah.
else, kind of merge this and under one label. But what they do is, since you're sending it out, they just decided to label this as a sale. So even if you send it to, let's say, your hardware wallet, which we were talking about earlier, so you're really just transferring it from one of your account, left pocket, right pocket, but they will report it on the 1099 to the IRS as a sale. So then it's up to you.
Sale.
Then it's up to you to prove that this was not a sale. It's like,
to myself.
this is also my address.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that is a problem.
A big problem.
Yeah, so there aren't really any good solutions yet on the US market. So we're working on something for our own needs here.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a lot more fees involved. So if you actually want to create a clean transaction where you account for all the fees, there are always fees along the way, little fees along the way. And the problem with those oftentimes is that they are not streamlined. What I mean by this is it could be 0.1% of that particular virtual asset that you're moving. So you're moving Ether, might be 0.1% of your Ether, and or you're moving VeChain or any of the other things, might be 0.1% of that.
Yeah.
So what you then need to do is you need to also timestamp and record the exchange to the US dollar at that point in time. And then obviously you also need to decide, okay, what particular exchange rate you're going to use from what particular exchange.
Wow.
And so you need to record, depending on how much you're transferring, well, oftentimes it doesn't matter, but depending on how much you're transferring, it might just add up to a lot of different calculations.
Yeah.
So transferring $1,000 and you might end up with 6-7 fees. But you need to all figure this into the transactions and then later on report. There's no good accounting that I know of at this point in time. That's why we're trying to figure this out on our end.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Oh, good. I hope you do.
It would be good if the wallet provider would be figuring this out.
Yeah, it would.
And kind of read back, but they don't. So how do you set your hardware wallets up your hardware? Well, I'm going to just do this on the example of the Keep Key, since I happen to like that. So all of these little wallets, as you notice, they come with their equivalent little app. Oftentimes might be associated to your browser, or it's a desktop app. So you connect it usually with USB drive, with a USB cord here to your laptop or to your desktop. You should always immediately update the firmware. Don't do this later. That could cause problems when you do that and erase your actual funds. So you initialize it, then you simply pick a label. I would stick with something generic. Don't make it personal. Select a PIN, confirm the PIN, and write down your recovery sentence. And keep that piece of paper. Don't lose it.
Don't lose it when you move. Definitely don't lose it when you move.
Yeah, and so lastly, there's one topic that we have touched on slightly on the side, is this problem of custody in this space. So custody means that you're actually giving someone else the ability to transfer your funds, right? And why would you want to do this? Well, think about it this way. If this particular piece that I hold in my hand here would have $1 million, it would make me slightly uncomfortable. It would make me pretty uncomfortable if it held $20 million, right? So that I'd be responsible for that, because literally I lose it and I don't have my sentence or any other method to restore that, and I'm not 100% sure about it, then it's just something that individuals are not readily equipped to take care of. So this is where custody comes into play. So some of the mobile wallet providers will actually take custody of that. Like Coinbase decided to become a custody provider, so that's why they can transfer that within the ACH system.
Okay.
And there's very few. You'll see that for the exchanges. Oftentimes they won't touch the fiat world for that particular reason. There are a handful of custody providers right now. Some of them have decentralized vaults around the planet, and so they will then do what I did here, but then on an industrial scale. So hot swappable hard drives, leave them out there, and that's also what the exchanges do, by the way. So you can see how much any of the exchanges hold in their custody by simply going to one of their addresses. You'll see billions of ether in a wallet, but 90% of that is is for the exchanges at this point in time is always in cold storage.
Wow.
And a lot of those guys then use a custody provider, and they are expensive, and that's where some of those costs come in, because they need to keep the actual physical security, and they need to keep up the insurances, which at this point in time are pretty expensive. And so this will cost the institutional traders around 0.1% a month on their virtual asset.
0.1%.
Yes. So if you have $100 million, let's say, in funds that you're managing in virtual assets, that's $100,000 a month for that custody service. So it's your $100,000 a month insurance, basically, because if then these funds are no longer accessible, the custodian will need to then make up for this. But again, there's less than 2 handful of those at the moment.
Dude, wow. That's a good chunk of money to spend every month on security.
Yeah, good business to be in.
Yeah, it is. I was just thinking, man, I'm definitely in the wrong business.
Yeah.
I'll just become a custodian. Crypto the custodian dog.
Yeah, crypto the custody dog.
Yes, I'll go buy that URL right away.
You should get your ESC 721 Wonder Dog.
Yes. All right. Yeah, and then that's crazy because you think about it. I mean, how much room does it take to store $100 million as opposed to $1?
No difference, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I would assume, and I honestly don't know, but I would assume that these guys actually make paper prints. So if you go back in time to the Mt. Gox debacle, so actually, what was his name? Caleb? No. Whatever his name was. So he actually kept paper prints of those.
Oh, he did?
Yes. And so then when he got hacked, he supposedly refreshed the accounts with those paper pins that he kept, but then eventually he ran out.
Wow.
So yeah, there was his backup method at the time.
Paper.
Yes. You just print it out. And
wow.
Yeah, lots of people kept it in an apartment in Tokyo.
An apartment in Tokyo?
Yes.
Just boxes and stacks of paper.
Supposedly, as I said, it's hearsay. I haven't seen it, but the person who conveyed it was pretty believable.
That's crazy. All right. Wow. Well, I think we've come to the end of the slide presentation there, right? Is that's the last one?
Yeah. I mean, you can talk about this topic forever, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good because, like myself, I mean, I'm not an expert by any means, but by getting one of those, it was kind of intimidating to open the box, and because there's nothing around to.
Right. Oh, the one thing that I forgot to put in here, because we're also still exploring this just to see if it's a good idea. So you got trading terminals now.
Trading terminals.
Trading terminals, and those have built-in wallets.
Where? like a terminal.
Yes, like a Bloomberg terminal, but for cryptos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for virtual assets.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a few providers that build their own implementation, so you lease the hardware software combination, and the one that we're looking at is built on Linux, and they have built-in wallets.
Built in?
Yes,
Okay.
so they're built into the terminal. And again, because I don't know the details yet, we'll probably do another session on just terminals at that point in time.
Now, when you say terminal, are you talking like a computer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you're familiar with Bloomberg terminal, right? So
no, not really. No.
okay,
No.
so it's a proprietary hard and software combination that you lease, and that's directly, let's call it, wired into the exchanges.
Okay.
And then also will aggregate certain data for you and let you trade without you needing to open up 15 different windows, etc. So it'll always be connected. Because right now, so if you want to trade on 5 different exchanges, so you have to actually have all those different websites open. And so these terminals combine the APIs of those exchanges, so you can. And I'm making up an example. Again, I'm not the trader on our team, but the way that I imagine it would work is you say you need particular currency or a particular virtual asset at a particular price, and it will figure out where it is the cheapest, right? So you can connect simultaneously to 16, I think it was in this particular case that we're looking at exchanges at the same time.
Oh,
and obviously you wouldn't be able to do this on your desktop, and it would be very hard. You would have to toggle between 16 different tabs.
Yes.
And then at the same time have your hardware wallet connected, and then I'm not even entirely sure that it would even allow you to keep all the connections open to your particular wallet to all the different exchanges at the same time. I would assume it would sever the connection.
Yeah. And that's something that I didn't realize either early on, was that Bitcoin isn't the same price across the board.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was, it's like gas. You go to one gas station, it's one price. You go somewhere else, another price. Same gas, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are bots that trade in between those exchanges already, so we can observe those on our end, and we know who those are, and the exchanges do some of that by themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still, in theory, some arbitrage opportunities to be had. In practice, it's very hard, hence the trading terminal. But again, it will even out fairly quickly, obviously, because as soon as bunches of people have that capacity, should be the same price in all the exchanges. Will never really happen. Think about it, because it makes also obviously different what currency pairs you're trading, right? So if you can jump from US dollars to euro and then into Bitcoin, and you have the capacity on your terminal to do this, you might still have an advantage. But again, it requires a lot of computational power that needs to be dedicated to that particular task, and then also be able to execute this in a certain time.
Okay, and are there fees? Like I know if you trade something somewhere else, there's a fee. Is there a fee when you do that?
Oh yeah, the fees are typically the same. They're based on the exchange, and the exchanges are usually taking 0.1% maker to 0.1% taker fee. Okay.
I saw that whenever I was in like Binance. I traded occasionally Binance, and you can see the 0.00 something of Bitcoin that's going to cost you to
right.
to buy that.
And when you actually export that data, by the way, it's not exactly that.
Really?
Yeah, it could be a little more, a little less.
Wow.
That comes back to the whole aggregating the fees for a transaction topic. So it's actually not exactly that, because it's very difficult.
Yeah.
There's a lot of computational parts.
Millions of transactions happening literally every second or whatever.
Yeah, every nanosecond.
Yeah. It's crazy. Wow. Well, great education, man.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Do it again.
Absolutely.
Bye.